Welcome everyone, I'm at Disney's Hollywood Studios, but I remember this place as MGM Studios. It opened in 1989, and currently they are doing a lot of changes, putting in Toy Story Land and Star Wars Land. So I want to give you an element of my past. My heart lies here at MGM Studios, and a lot of this will be going away in the very near future. So I basically just want to wander the property and show you pieces of my youth, pieces of my childhood that I remember. Now as I enter into the park, I'm actually joined by Micah from YouTube's own World of Micah. Micah is going to chime in with some of his thoughts as well, so we're going to kind of do like a dueling walk through the park type of history type thing. I will put the link to his video down below as well.
We're going to take a look at the Hollywood that never was and always will be.
We welcome you to a Hollywood that never was and always will be.
Join me, shall you? Right behind me are some doors where the parades back in the day, the opening day parade and continually on, would come through those gates and go straight down the makeshift Hollywood Boulevard. And there's actually some remnants of the old parade route right on the ground.
Walk along the street here, we'll notice copper lining.
See, in current day, they would actually just use strips of tape and pull the tape up. But back in the day, they never thought they were going to get rid of the parades. So here is a piece of silver or gold lining embedded in the concrete. This is going nowhere. This is a permanent memory. You're a permanent memory. So when you come out here and you look on the ground, you wonder, what is that bizarre triangle meat up there? That's from the old parades. If you've ever been here, you probably noticed the huge Chinese theater in the background and this statue, which was actually erected in the late 90s. But let's disregard that for now, and let's pay attention to the original 1989 opening day MGM Studios plaque that is right there. It's still here. Are those petunias?
No. Let me show you something really cool. This is Peavy's, a place where you can get an icy, something cold in the summer. But this pays tribute to Peavy, the character from The Rocketeer. And normally this place is open. I don't know if they're open yet today, as you can tell, but if you open this curtain right here, check it out. The Rocketeer's helmet and jetpack.
Classic, old school MGM Studio stuff right there.
Pretty awesome.
Of course, when you think of old school MGM Studios, you think of one classic cartoon character, Roger Rabbit. Please! And we are actually standing in front of a relic of Roger Rabbit MGM Studios past, and it's right up there in that window, and a lot of guests never noticed that window. On the top left window at the Hollywood and Vine restaurant is Roger Rabbit's imprint through the shades, and there's a little homage to Eddie Valiant right there in the far right window. Who knew? One other little factoid, take a look at the address on the top of the building, 1928, and there is a significance to that. Does anyone know what cartoon came out in 1928? When the park first opened, they used to do fireworks right over the Chinese theater called Sorcery in the Sky, narrated by the one and only Vincent Price. Guests would actually flock down those stairs into like a little VIP area that was roped off, and the stanchions that go in the ground, the holes are actually still down here, rusting away.
Disney MGM Studios is proud to present Sorcery in the Sky.
This ice cream stand has been here since opening day, pays tribute to Gertie, the first animated dinosaur ever. Check it out. this was the extended queue. This is where guests went in and out of to wait in line to get their ice cream. When this place was very, very popular. Guests would start here, grab their ice cream, and exit this way. And enjoy.
Don't look now, but he's actually left his permanent mark. Dinosaur footprints. So many decades ago, the dinosaur crushed this exact concrete. Not many people realize that. Micah remembers. Do you ever go to a theme park and you try to find an electrical outlet for your phone or your camera battery, and it's very difficult? You either have to pay for a charger or bring a portable charger? Not back in 1989. There are actually outlets mounted on the original light posts. Check out the date stamp on this. January 1989, just a few months before opening day. That is awesome. And of course, there's those electrical outlets right there. Of course, the focal point when you walk in the park is the Chinese theater, replicated after the one in Hollywood. And just like Hollywood, there are handprints in the ground. And most of the guests, when they walk into the queue line, never actually walk and read the names that are over a quarter of a century old. Let's go check some of them out. I'm laying here relaxing while everyone else is going in the attraction. Little do they know that Rick Moranis stamped his hands right here in 1989. There's all kind of Hollywood history out here, unbeknownst to everyone. One of my favorite hand and footprints out here is, of course, the one and only John Ritter, who stood right there with his feet backwards, kind of very unusual and very uncomfortable. Just to think, over a quarter of a century ago, John Ritter stood right there. He actually used his birthday and wrote his birthday at the top corner.
The Rocketeer. You can see his footprints here, but look below. Jetpack indentions.
You don't see that on Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles.
Now, would you look at that? The Chinese Theater. I just entered through the studio gates, and right over here is the old Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant. All these landmarks that mean Hollywood to much of the world, all recreated here at the Disney MGM Studios theme park in Florida.
MGM Studios theme park. You never know who you're gonna run into at MGM Studios.
Next time you walk through this archway, be sure to pay attention to the mural that goes around. It's been here since opening day, and it kind of shows some really cool stuff from Hollywood history.
It's an interesting fact that behind me is now currently the Star Wars launch bay. But you can see the architecture really does not match up. This is 1989 architecture because this used to be the entranceway to the backstage animation tour, where a lot of Disney movies were filmed. Lilo and Stitch, Mulan, just to name a couple. Pretty crazy, and there are some remnants still back there. Palm trees leading into Star Wars. Seems legit. Behind us is actually a sound theater, which has been through a few different incarnations over the years. It used to be a Drew Carey sound show. Before that, it was a couple different things, and a Walt Disney World radio station. But the interesting thing is not what's inside of there now, but what's inside of that little room. The doors would open, the show would exit back in the early 90s, and you would actually walk over here, and behind these curtains were doors that you could actually go in with your friends or your family members, open the door, talk into a microphone, and you could actually replace the voice of Eddie Valiant or Roger Rabbit or other Disney characters. And the doors are still back there behind this makeshift curtain. It's crazy. This is a piece of my childhood, and now that the doors have shut, there's really no one in here exiting out. Now, we're not going to actually open the doors, but if you just pull back the curtain, you can actually see what once was. Check this out. Still here. Awesome. But who knows for how much longer. Behind me is the old Studio Shops building, now home of an actual walk-up restaurant. But inside there are a lot of awesome artifacts from the early 90s. A lot of movie props, a lot of weird things on the wall, and it's all totally accessible to touch and look at. Let's go check it out. As you walk down these stairs and you turn this corner, here is some actual movie props from Roger Rabbit, including this vehicle. Most people don't even realize that the Toon Patrol Car is right here under their noses. The theming in here is so dated back in the late 80s, early 90s. I think that's probably why I like it, because I am an 80s kid. Something you don't normally see at a normal theme park are things that you can actually touch. And it looked like at one point, Mr. Jimmy Fallon was here working. Let's see if this water works. Look at this. That's not water. If you want some more information on what you are looking at right now, go over to Micah's channel and watch his video that he is recording. We are watching Magic in Motion. I'll put the link down below. Some old actual Polaroids of the backlot tour here at MGM Studios, the streets of America they call it now, but it used to be called New York Street. It's so crazy because right inside these doors there are lots of really unusual 20 to 25-year-old artifacts that are just hanging on the wall with just little like thumbtacks or nails. Anyone can touch it. Weird, unusual things in there. In fact, there's some pictures from old school MGM. Remember the vehicle I showed you with the weasels? There's an old picture of some cardboard cutout weasels against that car. All kind of relics of the past inside of there. And who knows how much longer they will be here for us to actually see. Check out this little fun fact. Here is a board there's glass over it, but check out what they're promoting on the board. A Disney park promoting a Six Flags park. That is unheard of for a huge Disney theme park to promote another non-Disney theme park. Look at these old movie stills and relics here on the wall. Return of the Jedi, the mall scene from Commando. That's right. Come on, stick a knife in me. Look into my eyes. See what's going on in there when you turn it.
Yes, me too. She was so disappointed.
Behind me are actually some of the buildings from the old backstage walking tour. And you would actually walk through there and look down into studios as television shows, commercials, and movies were being made. And part of the backstage tour actually went around the corner, and there was different things where you could actually look at movie props, and you could actually be part of an actual movie scene where water was splashing on you and there were airplane jet pilots flying over you, shooting down. You would walk through this facade and you would walk straight down through that corridor, and looking at movie props you would wait in a little short queue line, and when you were granted access into the next group you would actually go into another area and you can actually see the TV sets right there that you would actually watch the movie being made, and certain members of your group or the actual crowd that you were with would actually take part in the movie scene. You can see the fans are still circulating. That area has not been used by guests in quite some time. That was the queue line leading to the backstage tour. All of these buildings on the back lot were all facades. All you needed to see were the front of what the camera actually saw. The back was just basically construction. In 1989, the very first year the park opened, the actual tram tour went around this corner and the tram went right by there. And do you remember what was actually right there, peeking its head out through that door?
The Dipmobile.
That massively scary hunk of machinery that was fenced off. And I remember being a young child passing by that, getting terrorized, thinking, I do not want to be destroyed
Not the
by
Dipmobile.
the Dip.
The Dipmobile is the real McCoy. Toons beware.
This fountain here is from the 1984 movie Splash, which inspired the Magic Kingdom attraction Splash Mountain. The Imagineers used the name Splash because Michael Eisner loved the movie Splash so much he wanted to incorporate something from the movie into that ride. So what did they come up with? The name of the ride, Splash Mountain, which has nothing to do with Tom Hanks. This facade here was originally going to be on the backlot tour, and as you can see, they're not really doing a lot of filming anymore like they were back in the day. Want to notice on the other side of that wall? the alien scene from the great movie ride.
One of the many things that are on the former MGM chopping block in preparation for the future is this, the old Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play set area. Something that I remember from when I was a wee lad climbing around, pretending I was the size of a bug. Look at the size of that bee. Now this brings back some serious memories. I can remember sliding down that film roll when I was a lot smaller than I am now. But you got to think, in this day and age, does anyone really know what a roll of film is? Probably not. I smell wet dog. It's crazy to think that the Earful Tower, which was basically the staple and basically the logo of MGM Studios, is soon to be removed. In fact, they're already starting to remove Catastrophe Canyon. There are workers down there, and I want to know what is going to happen to Walt Disney's plane sitting backstage once Star Wars Land comes in. Will that be a Star Wars plane? Boba Fett riding in style. At one point, this was all actually fake facade homes. The Golden Girls house, the house that was Vern's house in Ernest Saves Christmas, the Empty Nest house, and a bunch of other stuff, as well as a lot of backstage props. And this is the actual tram concrete right here. And you can see it's very decayed, broken up, lots of cracks, lots of 25-year-old memories of a younger me riding in a tram, and probably a younger you, on this very spot. Old manhole cover. This used to be the exit of the tram tour. The start of the tram tour was actually right over there. Of course, we cannot cross this line that they have put up, but you can see it. Look closely, you can actually see some of the old backlot vehicles. There is the pod, the spaceship from Flight of the Navigator. Straight over there is the helicopter from Ellen's Energy Adventure. Way off in the distance, you can actually see a movie prop from Star Wars. Now, this is not accessible to the public. You just have to basically just look from a distance. But it's pretty cool that all this is right here. Right behind me is a little place that holds a special place in my heart. This gift shop, back in the day, was themed around Roger Rabbit and the whole Acme Corporation. All kind of fun little factoids in this little region. And some stuff, even though it is gone, there are remnants of it. You'll notice this purple, blue painted wall made of wood. That originally was not always there. That was actually a brick wall. The reason this wall has actually been put a piece of wood on the back side, the reason is right around the corner. There used to be a hole in this wall in the shape of Roger Rabbit himself in panic mode, busting through the bricks. Now I wonder what happened to that Roger Rabbit cutout. Could it be behind this? There it is. Check that out. So there is Roger Rabbit's, his hand and his leg. There is the top of his hand, that's his thumb. There is his arm, and there is his leg. Behind these bookcases, lies a relic of the past. Secret. You might also remember the Roger Rabbit footprints that went all through this store. And check this out, you can still see the very faint chalk outline of the body that was actually crushed. Look at this. You can see the faint chalk outline of the body that was crushed right here by that big heavy safe. And you can see the crack in the concrete. And there's his arm, there's his legs, the chalk outline. That is crazy. Still here, unbeknownst to everyone walking over it. Just like this woman. She didn't see it. A prop from the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit, that Tommy gun, right up there. You might be wondering why Micah is laying down there on the ground. No, it is not because the floor is comfortable, because he is reminiscing. Because there used to be a steamroller in that exact spot, a Roger Rabbit themed steamroller that would mow people down. And many people, me and Micah included, would lay in that exact spot as children and pretend that we were getting rolled over by a Toon.
Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power. Right over here is the stage where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live action show happened on the streets of America. Right over here is where the vehicle would pull up with the Teenage Mutant Turtles and April O'Neil. They would get out, do some dance moves, everything, and then come down to the streets and take photos with kids and family. Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power.
And now we have come to my favorite part here at the former MGM studios. I'm talking about New York Street, renamed the Streets of America. The tram used to actually turn that corner and come straight this way, and the operator of the tram would tell everyone, get your cameras ready, because you are about to see the New York City skyline straight down that way. The former New York Street was actually built for television commercials, TV specials, movies, and videos that they would actually use to promote this place as an actual working studio. You can see that they are not real buildings, they are just facades. There was actually a point that the tram tour went down this actual road, and you could see the park guests are walking through here now. But before, you were not actually granted access to actually walk down this road. It was kind of a mystery. You had to stay on the tram tour because they did a lot of filming here. Right up on this very ledge, Bette Midler actually starred in a made-for-the-theme park movie called The Lottery, and she was dangling from right up there. Another scene from The Lottery was actually a stunt double for Bette Midler. The shopping cart sped towards some extras and some stunt doubles that were right here, and she turned the corner very rapidly, busting into the crowd right there, and there was a big mess. Stuff was flying everywhere. So there's the New York skyline. Remember how I was saying this was called New York Street and then now called Streets of America? Here is a remnant signifying that this actually was New York Street. Yankees rule. Been in this concrete slab for decades. Some of these facades are actually very well detailed. They're pretty cool. Check out the mailboxes here with the names on it. Waters, Smith, and they actually have the little buttons to push to ring if you wanted to ring a tenant that lived inside of here. Of course, this is just a facade. No one actually really lives here. In real life, a subway stairway would lead underground, but not on a back lot. In fact, this is what it leads to. Pretty deceiving. I really like the fire escapes up there. You can see the grill and the outdoor tables and chairs, just like these are real people's apartments. But they're not, I assure you. They are not. There's a lot of history that a lot of people just walk past here at the studios, including all of these names that were carved in the pavement, probably by either cast members or maybe workers that actually helped build the old New York Street. And you can see there are dozens upon dozens of names scribbled in the concrete.
There was actually a show here called Ace Ventura Live in Action. And Ace Ventura would lay himself down the building and have a conversation with the Hollywood director.
And there's the actual metal rod up there to secure Ace Ventura so he didn't fall down the side of the building. That is still up there. A little remnant on the top of that building that basically chained the stuntman playing Ace Ventura. Pretty crazy. Some of these buildings are actually based on real buildings in New York City itself, including this hotel. Let's go up the red carpet and actually go through the door and into the hotel. Let's actually go inside. Oh wait, you can't get inside. Another kind of little unknown little area is, of course, the Singing in the Rain umbrella, which Micah is prominently taking full advantage of.
Hey, hold it here.
I'm gonna miss that thing.
I am too.
Thanks for watching, everyone. Also, thanks to Micah from YouTube's own World of Micah. I will put a link to a video he filmed today along with me in the little section down below. Check out my other channel. It's called The Daily Woo. I hope you enjoyed this walk through some of the weird, wacky, crazy secrets and some of the stuff that will no longer exist in the very near future here at the now Hollywood Studios, but what I like to call
MGM Studios.
Yes. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.
And more importantly, goodbye MGM Studios.
Goodbye, MGM Studios.
We will miss you.
Is not so much a theme park as a state of mind, a Hollywood that never was and will always be.
Of course, the focal point when you walk in the park, I have something hanging out of my mouth, some kind of slobber or something. Kind of in the nether regions of the internet of him actually standing right there. It's crazy to think that John Ritter, I don't know where I'm going with this, because I love Roger Rabbit and I love early MGM touristy things. Let's try that. And there are some remnants still back there. That guy is not one of them, nor is the guy blowing the snow. The Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playset. This has actually been here for quite some time. Right here was the Bulldog Cafe from The Rocketeer. And you gotta wonder, where did they move all those old props?
I don't know.
Are they just non-existent? Did somebody buy one? Is some old man somewhere have a relic of The Rocketeer in his backyard?
Probably living in the Bulldog Cafe.
Probably so. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I feel the same way. That was Eisner. He's just not happy.